Chapter 8, Part 1. Biscuits at Midnight. Wrapped in a blanket and smelling of antiseptic, Harry sat on the big settee. A mug of steaming Ovaltine was in his hand and a plate of biscuits by his side. Tangle had been fetched from the tower and lay snoozing by the French window. All the clothes Harry had been wearing, including his socks and gym shoes, hung drying in the kitchen. "Well, you have to find out sometime, of course," Aunt Bridget was saying, "but I didn't imagine it would be so soon. Not on your very first night. You've only been here 12 hours. Harry held his Ovaltine in both hands and took a sip. "But weren't you frightened, dear?" said Aunt Florrie, cheerful in pink chiffon and somewhat haphazard make-up. "The idea of a terrible ghost wandering the grounds. Didn't it make you want to lock the door and leave all the lights on?" "Not really," said Harry. "Oh, it would have terrified me when I was a girl," said his auntie. "Me and all," said Fingers. "When I was a boy, like. Saw a film once, The Beast from the Pit. Wouldn't go out after sunset for the next 6 months. It scared the wits out of me." "I also," said Harry. "In Petropavlovsk, everybody believes in ghosts. No one goes out after dark. But Harry, he's different. That still does not explain why he goes exploring in the middle of the night." "But don't you see?" Aunt Bridget was exasperated. "That's exactly it. Harry's not like we were. He's a modern boy. He asks questions, he watches TV, he studies science. He knows about computers. You all go rabbiting on about this fantastic beast, this ghost in the garden. What do you expect him to do? Hide under the bedcloths? Of course not. He wants to know what it's all about, so he goes exploring. I told you, and I told you, but no, you wouldn't listen. And there you all are, while he's safely in the kitchen having his supper, helping Angel to rig up that contraption in the trees." "Really?" Munching on a chocolate digestive, Harry turned to look at the man she had called Angel. He was short and fat, with wild hair and a wild grey beard. Thick pebbled lens spectacles made his eyes look enormous. His hands, Harry saw, were streaked with paint and black beneath the nails. He wore a baggy tweed suit, a lopsided tie. Finding himself observed, the man gave a thick-lipped smile that revealed broken teeth. "I don't think you've met Angel yet," said Aunt Bridget. "We have many talents in our little community. Remarkable talents, I must say. But Angel is our one true genius," she smiled proudly. "Angus McGregor from the Isle of Skye." "But we call him Mike McAngelo," piped Dot, "and Vince McGough, and our Mr. Pick." "They're our little jokes," explained Aunt Bridget. "He's an artist." "Oh, would you hold yourself, the lot of you," cried Angel, who had an unusually high-pitched voice. "My ghost, son. Did you see my ghost?" "Yes. What do you think of it?" "It's good," Harry said. "Really spooky." Angel shrugged. "It's all right, especially when you think they only gave me 2 hours to make the whole thing." He glared round the room. "Those are some of Angel's pictures on the stairs," said Aunt Bridget soothingly, "and on the walls here." Harry looked round the gorgeous oil paintings. One of a vase of sunflowers, another of a little bridge over a lake of water lilies that he thought he recognised. "Beautiful, aren't they?" said his aunt. "And they asked me to paint monsters that light up in the dark, like some ghost train in a fairground," said Angel crossly. "They forget I have a reputation to keep up." His eyes fell on the plate of biscuits, and Harry sighed and he brightened. "Do you think I could have one of your custard creams? I'm very partial to a custard cream, or a lemon puff." Daddy's favourite, lemon puffs. "Of course." Harry passed the plate across. "Thank you kindly." The black nail scraped all the biscuits into his lap. Then, thinking this might appear rather greedy, he replaced the broken rich tea and passed the plate back. Harry was astonished. "You pig, Angel!" Aunt Bridget laughed. "It's all right, Harry. I'll get you some more." "I'll do it," said Dot eagerly. Jumping to her feet, the old lady tucked her skirts into her underwear and did a couple of handsprings. Then, walking on her hands, she picked up the biscuit plate on her feet, made her way to the door, opened it, and disappeared down the hall. "Such energy," said Aunt Bridget. "And after you've eaten them and finished your drink, Harry, bed. I know you have 1,000 questions. I know you think you've landed in the middle of a nest of bank robbers, but it's too late to go into all of that now. I promise we'll explain everything tomorrow. So no setting your alarm clock for 3 and running off in the middle of the night." She smiled approvingly. "We're finding out a lot about you, Harry Barton. You've got guts and you're resourceful. Pretending to be asleep when I went upstairs. Had it all planned out, didn't you? So I want you to promise no vanishing act, all right? When Goody goes up to call you in the morning, you're still in bed." Harry mumbled. "Promise?" "I promise." While we're waiting for Dot, Auntie Florrie mixed herself another bosun blinder. Why don't we tell him a bit about ourselves? Take the edge off his curiosity. Yeah, good idea. Sooner the better, said Fingers. Kid keeps looking at me as if I'm Flaming Jack the Ripper. Well, who shall we start with? Aunt Bridget looked around the room. Angel, you know something about him already. What do you think he does for a living? He's a crook, Harry said bluntly. Oh, my dear Harry. Aunt Bridget kissed the top of his head. It's lovely to have you here, so refreshing. Yes, of course he's a crook, and a dustbin for sweeties and cakes. But what sort of crook? Harry hesitated. Is he a forger? Right in one. Aunt Bridget gestured towards the sunflowers and water lilies. I saw you looking at our Van Gogh and Monet. And that one over there's a Constable, and that one's a Cézanne. And if you go into the hall, you'll find Rembrandt and Turner and Picasso, all quite beautiful, all by Angel, and absolutely indistinguishable from the real thing. Harry gazed at the walls. But can't the experts tell? I mean, if a painting's old... You hit the nail on the head, laddie. Angel popped in a storm of biscuit crumbs. But you see, I'm more an expert than the experts. I use old pigments and linseed and varnish and bake them in that wee oven that Nutty made for me. Nobody can tell the difference. You'll find his work in galleries all around the world, said Aunt Bridget. Of course, they don't know they're by Angel. They think they're by Toulouse-Lautrec and David Hockney and all these people we've been talking about. They sell for a lot of money. What if they found out, said Harry. They'd be mad. But they're not going to find out. Angel scratched his whiskers complacently. I'm the best forger in the world. Greedily, his eyes turned to the door. I wonder what's keeping that wee wifey with the biscuits. As if on cue, the door of the drawing room swung open, and a huge tray appeared, laden with mugs of hot chocolate, a big pot of tea, and plates piled up with cake and biscuits. Invisible behind it, staggering under the weight, came the tiny figure of Dot. Ah, delicious, a midnight feast. Huggy took the tray from her. No, Angel, put the plate back, I warn you. 2 biscuits, 1 slice of cake. That's your share. Right, now sit down. Sit. That's better. These are for the rest of us. Harry took his chocolate and a thick slice of fruit cake. Well, dear, cup in hand. Auntie Florrie looked round the big room. Who next? What do you make of Dot? Oh, he knows about me, Florrie. We've already been climbing together, haven't we, love? Ah, yes, the human fly. But does he know that you're a cat burglar, the best in Europe? And the States, love, and the States. Said so at my trial. They did ever so often, especially after that job up the Statue of Liberty. Never heard of nothing like it, they said. I've shown you me cattins. Yes, all right, Dots. Sorry, and the States. Anyway, Harry gets the picture, don't you, dear? Auntie Florrie's moved on. Who next? Fingers?